What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I just want to say thank you for an amazing 2024. We have over 4,000 subscribers now, which is absolutely insane. I remember having maybe 100 subscribers when I started medical school, and now we're here. And I basically had to go through all of my YouTube videos to find these comments, and it just reminded me that you guys are the best. So thank you guys for the support, and hopefully you guys will keep following along on the journey this year as well. So today is January 2nd, and there's really no vlog content that I could make. So I decided to, again, go through my comments and make this Q&A video instead. So without further ado, let's get into it. So our first question comes from Humba MD, and they ask on tips on managing studying and going to the gym. And I'm gonna broaden this out a little bit because finding time to go to the gym is just like finding time to do anything else other than studying in medical school. And it's about defining your non-negotiables. And your non-negotiables are gonna be different for everybody. For example, I ran my first and probably only marathon last year, but I had to find time from November until May of my M1 year to train for that. I remember one time we were going on a trip to Zion National Park, and before we left for that flight at I think it was 5 o'clock, I had to go on a 15-mile run. I didn't want to do it, but I knew it was one of my non-negotiables and something that I had to do or I wouldn't be ready for race day. Another big non-negotiable I had recently was doc opera. I was the tech director for this year's show, and a lot of my non-negotiables for this past block were going to my rehearsals, going to our exec board meetings, and making sure that the show was gonna run smoothly. But no matter what your non-negotiable thing is, you can't skip it because you have to study more or because you're too tired or because you have other things going on. It's basically what it sounds like, a non-negotiable. Medical students are always trying to work hard so that they can have time outside of school, but what exactly is that time going to be used for? When I was training for my marathon or really busy with doc opera, I still had to work out and I still had to get my school stuff done. And I basically had to be efficient with my time because I didn't really have much to spare. And that brings me to Parkinson's law, which is basically that work will fill the time that you give it. My camera died, but I think I was talking about Parkinson's law. When I was really busy training for my marathon or when I was swamped with doc opera, I still had to work out and I still had to get my work done, and I had to be efficient with my time because I had no other choice. Now that I'm on winter break, I have seen Parkinson's law in full effect. I know that breaks are very important and I'm trying to relax, but I've had the whole day to accomplish very little and I've taken the whole day to do so. But if you guys want more on this topic, I can make a different video. Our second question is a series of questions by Prod Mist, Tony Bro 123, and Immortal Elysium. Sorry if I said that wrong, but they're basically centered around my exercise plan and workout splits, and a little bit about my diet. And my camera just died for the second time. So in this new year, my resolution is to charge my camera better. But back to the question, I don't spend that much time lifting. I work out about 4 times a week, and each workout takes anywhere from 45 to 60 minutes. And I've been doing the same split basically this entire year. So on Mondays, I'll hit chest and legs with the main movements being an incline bench and a hack squat. And on Tuesdays, I'll do a back day, which is an assortment of whatever I feel like, whether that's weighted pull-ups or lat pull-downs with some different bicep exercises. On Thursdays, with Wednesday being a rest day, I will do my regular bench press and deadlift, which is been on a pause because of some back pain. And then on Fridays is a fun day with some arms and shoulders. I've been enjoying lifting in the mornings during my M2 year because class doesn't start until 10 o'clock, so I have basically from 7 to 8 to work out and then from 8 to 10 to get some studying done. I've tried the whole 5 a.m. gym thing, and it's just a little bit too early, and 5 p.m. is fun, but a little bit too busy. So my second favorite time to work out is kind of a late night workout at 7 or 8 o'clock. And for my diet, that is definitely something I'm trying to improve for this next year. I just pound protein bars and protein shakes, and my top secret meal, which I've eaten for a year straight, is my protein pasta at lunchtime with meatballs, of course. And for dinner, I just survive on Trader Joe's. Sponsor me, please and thank you. I would love a lifetime supply of the Kung Pao chicken. Our next question is from Archer6424, and they ask if studying in a group really works, and how do you plan for these group study sessions? And I would say it depends on what you're studying for. As of today, I am 100 days away from my step 1 date. And for that, I have to study alone. There's really no way to incorporate studying in a group. But for all of my block exams, whether that's anatomy or whether that's actual content, ranging from biochemistry to things like neuro, which I'm in right now, I always study in a group. We have these things called learning objectives, which I'll talk about later on, but I'll basically talk through them with my friends. I am a huge believer in the teach back method. So basically, if I don't know something, then I'll have my friends teach it to me and I'll try to explain it back to them with specific focus on trying to keep it simple. And that's related to the Feynman technique, which is this idea that if you can't teach something to a child, then you probably don't know it well enough. Our next question is from Razi Ghazawi, and they ask about what year I'm in and what a block is. So I'm currently a second-year medical student, and at my school there are 6 different blocks that we have to complete. And a block is basically how they organize information to make it easier for us to learn. So I'll give you guys an example. Block 2 was endocrine, repro, genetics, and embryology. Whereas block 6, which is the last block of my second year, which is crazy, is focused on neuro and psych. So it's just kind of different ways to organize information. Our next question is from ARC-V3Q, and they ask what IQ means. So IQ stands for Inquiry-Based Learning and is one of the small group learning environments here at Case Western. It's actually one of the only required sessions we have, along with Tuesday Seminar and Garla. And basically, on Mondays, we'll go through 2 patient cases, and based on those patient cases, we'll make learning objectives that we have to research throughout the week. And on Wednesdays and Fridays, we'll present our research to each other. I'll give you guys an example. We are in our neuro block now, as I said, and one of our patient cases was on Brown-Séquard syndrome. So we would go through the pathophysiology of Brown-Séquard, any treatments that are available for it, and also some normal physiology that's important to talk about, whether that's different spinal tracts or the difference between upper and lower motor neurons, and what kinds of symptoms you might see when there are lesions in those areas. Our next question is from Rocco NYT, and they're asking about sleep as a medical student. It's kind of a funny thing because sleep is another one of my non-negotiables, so I try and make sure I get at least 7 hours a night. Usually I try to be in bed at around 11 o'clock, and I usually wake up around 6:45. So if I don't scroll on TikTok when I get into bed, that's a good bit of sleep. But sometimes I get carried away and doom scroll a little too long. So our next question is from Christian Alviso, and they ask if we use cadaver labs to learn anatomy. And Case is kind of an outlier here because we don't do cadaver dissections throughout our whole first year. What we do have is a 2-week anatomy boot camp where we do kind of the highlights of dissections, and then for the rest of our preclinical curriculum, we'll use holoanatomy and HoloLens to learn anatomy, which is basically augmented reality, and you get to see the body without having to dissect. It's kind of a plus if you don't see yourself going into surgery and don't like going into the cadaver lab. But if you really enjoyed it, you have the option to do a anatomy elective where you'll do dissections throughout your first year. Our next question has to do with what I put in my hair. I've always seen these comments and I've never answered because it's kind of a boring answer. But recently I've only been using leave-in conditioner, specifically the Garnier brand. So I'll put a picture here so I won't cover up this beautiful tree that my mom worked on. So these next 3 questions from Gabriela Campos, Angelo Prado, and Muslim Ahi are all related to Anki, so I will answer them together. I honestly could make a whole video just on this topic, but I'll try and keep it short and sweet. So any student studying for step 1 is probably going to be using the Anki deck just because it's so comprehensive and really easy to use. Basically what you do is you go into Anki, you download their deck, and then you upload it to your Anki. Then you suspend all of the cards so you have nothing showing, and based on what you learn, you gradually go and unsuspend all of the cards. So let's say you either read a chapter in first aid or you watch a pathoma video or a sketchy video, you would then go onto the tag section and then unsuspend any cards related to that video or chapter that you watched or read. So I'll give you guys an example. This summer I watched all of Sketchy Micro, and right when I would finish watching a video, I would go into Anki, unsuspend all those cards, and then do the cards directly after watching the video to make sure I didn't forget any information. And throughout this whole block, I've been keeping up with those cards, and the same can be said for all of my cards that I've unsuspended going all the way to block 2. So our next questions are from Samir and Marty, and basically ask about how I study and if I can make a study with me video. And I've honestly wanted to, but it would kind of be the same as my vlogs if I'm gonna be completely transparent. All I really do is my Anki reviews. I'll unsuspend any new Anki cards based on what I've learned that day. And since step 1 is coming up very, very soon, I have been doing more View World. I'm currently, I think, 13 or 14% through, so hopefully I can just keep making gradual progress until dedicated comes around. And I think that brings us to the end of the video. So thank you guys so much for watching and for supporting this entire year. If you have any more questions, leave them down in the comment section below. I want to do more of these videos in the future, but hope you guys had a great start to the year, and I will see you guys in the next one.